And that's how I look at it. What makes him get more respect than me? You my next door neighbor, you know, I tell him, you got yours from your family. I got mine from the ground up, from hard work and dedication.
Floyd Mayweather is one of the greatest ever. He's a brilliant defensive fighter. His speed, his boxing savvy. He's just a savant. He's just something special, no question about it. But I gotta look at the Sugar Ray Leonards of the world.
Floyd's way is safe. Not in a punk, but it's like the safe way, like nothing ain't gonna go wrong. But that's how he fight. That's his characteristic.
Floyd Mayweather has fired back after Stephen A. Smith questioned his legacy and claimed that Terence Crawford could beat him. Smith argued that Mayweather isn't the greatest fighter of all time, saying Sugar Ray Leonard was far better and that Floyd's most impressive wins came at lightweight, not in the higher divisions. He also downplayed Mayweather's victory over Canelo, calling it overrated. The remark
Just about your skill set. It's who you do it against.
Your level of competition. Is it possible that he's so far beyond his level of competition that he made it look easy?
Well, I think he did as a lightweight. When he went up to the welterweight division, not so much. You know what I'm saying? Now, if
taking out Canelo the way he took out.
Well, he just gave him a boxing lesson, but Canelo was 22 years old. See, I remember
That's
that.
an excuse, though.
Well,
I don't like this, like he's 22, he's too young.
I will tell you this. Well, you know, you do have to take that into consideration.
The guy had 100 fights.
Well, let me explain.
22.
You have to take that into consideration when boxing is the issue. Now, if he got knocked on his ass, that's different. But when he simply got schooled, when you swinging a punch and Floyd is tapping you on your shoulder saying, I'm behind you, that's a problem. You understand what I'm saying? That's just a skill, like, you know,
But we could credit Floyd with that.
Of course, I am crediting. I'm saying he's a brilliant boxer. You know, this Floyd knew how to move before you even threw the damn punch. You see what I'm saying? You got to be a veteran to know how to overcome that. You can't put a novice into the ring with Floyd Money Mayweather. You understand? He's going to school you. What I'm saying to you is that if you want to make an argument on Floyd Money Mayweather's half, which I'm not summarily dismissing, I would tell you it's this. Floyd Money Mayweather was undefeated for the last half of his career with one hand. He constantly broke his hand.
Daoud Bey offered an in-depth take on the growing comparisons between Floyd Mayweather and Terence Crawford after Crawford's dominant win over Canelo Alvarez. While Bey admitted he slightly favors Crawford in a fantasy matchup, he emphasized the need for perspective. Crawford's victory was undeniably historic, but Bey reminded fans that Mayweather also outclassed Canelo, and did so when the Mexican star was still developing as a fighter. He argued that it's unfair to diminish Floyd's greatness just to elevate Crawford, as both men have made remarkable contributions to boxing. In Bey's view, the truth lies in balance. Crawford deserves full credit for dismantling Canelo, but Mayweather's earlier mastery over the same opponent remains equally legendary.
Goes about it a little bit better than Floyd in this sense. Floyd will when Floyd fought Canelo, he was standing right there. He wasn't running and all of that. He wasn't doing all of the stuff that they say, oh, a runner, Mayweather's a runner. He wasn't doing that versus Canelo. He was right there. And I can't even really remember Canelo catching him like that, like with nothing. With Bud, I could remember Canelo catching Bud a couple times, but Bud gave him the, all right, put your foot out, what's up? Boxing turn, boxing turn, boxing turn. And was really standing there and giving it to him with another type of energy. The energy is more so all right, what's up? You can't beat me. Floyd energy be bop, bop, I'm better than you. You see what I'm saying? They don't really be respecting that all the time. They'll acknowledge it yo, I ain't gonna lie, he hard to catch. But they be nah, you didn't beat me up. Bud go about his fights in a way where it's the Mexican fan base gotta be I ain't gonna lie, Canelo, he hollered at you. He came at you too. He didn't just be better than you. He was better, and then he was all right, I'm gonna come at you. And I think they really respect that. Shit, I respect it. I don't think it's I think the less you get hit, the better. I'm always gonna take it that way. So, you know what I'm saying? As a boxing fan, the kind of boxing fan that I am, I would have leaned towards Floyd's performance, but Bud's performance was if I'm a casual fan, I'd rather watch the way.
Trainer Bussy Ennis spoke passionately about Terence Crawford's place in boxing. defending him against critics who question his achievements. He said Crawford has repeatedly proven himself as one of the greatest fighters of his generation, showing unmatched willingness to take on any challenge, no matter how risky. According to Ennis, Crawford actually thrives under pressure. That hunger for tough fights is what sets him apart from most of today's boxers. By constantly pushing himself against elite opponents, he's earned his spot among the sport's all-time greats. Ennis emphasized that instead of downplaying Crawford's success, fans should recognize how rare it is to see a fighter so versatile, fearless, and consistently dominant.
He'll tell you that if he had to sit down a little bit more. And what I tell you, Terence can fight and he can box. And he can fight. He'll fight this side. He take chances, man. You know what I mean? And that's how you be great, man. And he one of the greatest out there now. I think he's great. I think he's the best out there right now in that division. You know what I mean?
What's left?
For Terence?
Yeah.
If I was Terence, I would retire. That's what I would do. He did everything, man. He's done everything, man. You know what I mean? You know how many titles he don't want? All that stuff, you know what I mean? I think I'll go off one in the sunset, man. You know what I mean? He don't need no more money. You know what I mean?
Crawford's longtime trainer, Brian Bomac McIntyre, says the champion still has a few major fights left in him. According to McIntyre, Crawford could step into the ring 2 or 3 more times before hanging up his gloves. He hinted that a move up to 160 pounds is possible, not just for more titles, but to further cement a legacy that's already Hall of Fame worthy. McIntyre noted that Crawford has made history by becoming undisputed in multiple weight classes, but the prospect of conquering new divisions continues to drive him and excite fans. At this stage, Crawford isn't chasing approval or comparisons. He's focused on building an untouchable legacy and taking on challenges reserved for the sport's true legends.
The second time. They can't take it away from him, neither.
Does this one mean more to you than the other ones?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It gives us the opportunity as a team to go into the Hall of Fame. Instead of a fighter going in there, instead of a coach going in there, it gives us a better chance to go in there as a team.
Well, congrats on that. I know that means a lot to you and the team.
Definitely that.
You know, I asked Bud this after the fight 2 weeks ago. Would he consider this his signature win? He said, yeah, one of them. Do you think that was his signature win of his career?
Well, the last fight?
Yeah, the Canelo one.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was the underdog. Everybody thought that, you know, he was going to get beat.
What's up?
He was going to get beat. It surprised me.
So what's next for Bud? What do you want to see him do?
I just want to see him, you know, spend time with his family because, you know, training for a fight, you be gone a long time. You're going away from the family. And it could take a toll on you after a while. So,
as his trainer, do you feel like you should just sail off into the sunset after this monumental
well,
win?
you know what? He made it look so easy. Shit. You know what I'm saying? Shit, got 2-3 more in him and shit. You know what I'm saying? Training camp will try harder. You know?
Timothy Bradley shared emotional words about Terence Crawford's impact on the sport, saying he's become a true symbol of perseverance for young fighters. Bradley explained that many up-and-coming boxers battle self-doubt, especially when critics question their potential, but Crawford has shown exactly what persistence and belief can achieve. Despite facing skepticism early in his career, he kept silencing critics with his performances and went on to make history as a multi-division, multiple-time undisputed champion. For Bradley, Crawford's legacy goes far beyond titles. He embodies courage, self-belief, and the power of hard work. Today, young fighters see him not just as a champion, but as living proof that determination can overcome anything.
And as you have become, you're a true inspiration to the youth, man. Anybody that's troubled, any troubled kid out there, man, they can look at you and say, hey, man, I got a fighting chance to get myself out the situation. All I got to do is make that choice. That's what you did, Crawford. You made that choice, man. You made that choice to change, bruh. You know, you saw going down, man, years ago, man, in 2008, man, when that bullet came through that window, you knew you had to do something or you'll end up 6 feet under, bruh. You know, So that courage that you had, man, and that will that you had and that mindset to change, man, and the gym, you know, grooming you and turning you into a man, because that's what boxing does. See, people don't understand, man, that boxing is more than just throwing punches. You know, boxing teaches you discipline. You know, it teaches you love for people, love for others, man. You know, working together. You know, you're there constantly every single day, man. You know, spending time there perfecting a craft, man. Perfecting yourself, understanding yourself, learning more about yourself each and every single day. You push it inside the gym. You know, boxing is more than just throwing punches, man.
Floyd Mayweather's journey went far beyond boxing, as Oladipo explained. Throughout his career, he carefully crafted two distinct personas: Pretty Boy Floyd, the fearless knockout artist of his early years, and Money Mayweather, the shrewd businessman who mastered the art of defensive boxing and turned every fight into a global spectacle. His brilliance extended beyond the ring, as he revolutionized how athletes market themselves and generate wealth through pay-per-view and self-promotion. By blending technical mastery with showmanship, Mayweather transformed himself into more than just a fighter. He became a cultural icon and the architect of boxing's modern economic era, creating a blueprint that today's generation of boxers continues to follow.
Sorry. He's a genius. He is a fucking... You know, when I get bored with today's crop of boxers, and Terence, to be fair, has kind of helped me out of my boredom, but sometimes I just go on YouTube and I watch the 24/7s and then I watch the fight. I'm not joking, I watch the whole fucking episodes and then I watch the fight. And my guy is a genius. A genius. There will always be an argument, oh, you should have fought that person then, and I get it. I get it, all right? It's kind of the argument you can't throw at Muhammad Ali, right? You could throw that argument at Floyd. But dude, unbeaten is unbeaten. Unbeaten is unbeaten. Multi-weight world champion is multi-weight world champion. Do you know what I mean? I've never seen a boxer so like, I'm gonna work you out, and then when I work you out, you're done. Shall I repeat that? I'm gonna work you out, and when I work you out, you're done. And Floyd had this thing where first 2 rounds, you think, oh shit, man, this guy's in this fight, and then he works you out. And then he works you out. Floyd, Pretty Boy Floyd was better than Money, but
Despite Terence Crawford's stunning victory over Canelo Alvarez, debate continues to swirl about his future. Some within his own camp have suggested that he retire now to preserve his legacy, arguing that he has already reached the pinnacle of the sport and has nothing left to prove. Others, however, believe it's too soon for him to step away, insisting that Crawford still has more to give and that his skills remain as sharp as ever. Critics may downplay his recent achievements, but his dominant performances tell a different story. For many fans, the idea of seeing Crawford in a few more high-profile matchups is too exciting to dismiss. Whether he chooses to continue or retire, one thing is undeniable: Crawford's legacy as one of boxing's all-time greats is firmly secured.
That Terence Crawford did what he did against Canelo Alvarez. Terence Crawford made himself the face of boxing, and he did it. He made it look easy. He made the Errol Spence fight look easy. That was supposed to be the toughest test of his career. I thought it was. The whole world thought it was. It was the easiest fight he had at welterweight. I thought, but I've been saying for years that he's gonna easily beat Canelo Alvarez, and he did. But many people expected Canelo to knock him out. That wasn't the case. With that said, now people are trying to throw. He's 38. Tomorrow, Terence Crawford will be 38 years old. He's a 5-division champion. If he wants to stick around, like Terence Crawford stated, okay, Terence Crawford stated, if I do stick around, I'm not dropping down no further than 160 pounds. If he stays in boxing, I say he have 2 more fights. Fight Janibek, who's the unified champion. Hopefully Carlos Adames and Lara fight and unify the belts. 2 fights at 160, pad the stats, become a 6-division champion and a 4-division undisputed champion. Cool. Other than that, Terence Crawford needs to retire.
Trainer Robert Garcia shared his perspective on the Mayweather versus Crawford debate, offering a balanced yet decisive take. He acknowledged that while Mayweather's record and accomplishments are extraordinary, he never became an undisputed champion, a feat both Crawford and Pacquiao achieved. Garcia emphasized that this achievement gives Crawford a special place in boxing history. However, when comparing the two head-to-head, he still sided with Mayweather. According to Garcia, Floyd's defensive brilliance, timing, and ring intelligence would pose serious problems for any opponent, even one as versatile as Crawford. He described Mayweather as a master at neutralizing threats, making him one of the most difficult fighters to beat in any era. Though Garcia deeply respects Crawford's achievements, he believes Mayweather's unmatched mastery of fundamentals and strategy ultimately places him above today's champions.
With his accomplishments, the only man to ever do 3 weight divisions undisputed, is he now a part of the greatest of all time conversation? And not of this era, but of all time.
Definitely is the greatest, one of the greatest of all times. You know, there's still greats out there. There's still, you know, his era or last era, you know, with the Mayweathers, with the Pacquiaos. I think he's, you know, already accomplished more than Pacquiao was 8 divisions, so we have to, we could argue there because Pacquiao was, 8 division is almost impossible, and he did it. Mayweather never became undisputed. He's a 5 division champion, but never became undisputed. Never really followed that unification, stuff like that. So I think when it comes to accomplishments, I think he's already done more.
Greg Hackett added depth to the ongoing debate by comparing Floyd Mayweather's performance against Canelo Alvarez with Terence Crawford's recent victory. He explained that when Floyd fought Canelo, he was already a complete and polished fighter, showcasing flawless execution, composure, and unmatched defensive brilliance over 12 rounds. In contrast, Crawford's style is more aggressive and based on adaptability, allowing him to read and adjust to his opponents in real time. But Hackett argued it still doesn't reach the technical perfection Floyd displayed. He emphasized that Mayweather's defensive mastery and ring control remain unparalleled in boxing history, representing a higher level of dominance. At the same time, Stephen A. Smith praised Crawford's win over Canelo as one of the most thrilling and memorable performances in recent years, noting that despite being the smaller man, Crawford made the fight look effortless against a bigger, stronger opponent. Smith admired how Crawford combined technical skill with entertainment value, proving not only his greatness as a champion, but also his ability to carry the sport forward by delivering performances that captivate and inspire boxing fans worldwide.
The biggest props of the night goes to Terence Crawford, who did not disappoint. He was supposed to be the smaller man. He was supposed to be the weaker man. He was supposed to be the man that was going to spend the entire night on his bicycle, running for his damn life because Saul Canelo Alvarez was coming his way. That is not what happened. What happened instead, ladies and gentlemen, was a masterclass in boxing by Terence Crawford. Now, to me, the fight, some people were saying it was a severely lopsided and stuff like that. I'm not going for that. I'm not feeling that at all. It wasn't like that at all.
Veteran journalist Dan Rafael offered a long-term view of Terence Crawford's career, asserting that Crawford has nothing left to prove. His accomplishments, becoming undisputed in multiple divisions, defeating elite opponents, and maintaining a reputation for complete dominance, have already secured his place among the sport's all-time greats. Rafael argued that at this stage, Crawford's focus should no longer be on validation but on preservation, protecting the legacy he has worked so hard to build. Pursuing unnecessary fights, he warned, could risk diminishing the perfection of his record and the aura surrounding his achievements. Instead, Rafael believes Crawford should embrace his status as one of boxing's most accomplished champions, confident that his legacy is already cemented as legendary, whether he chooses to continue fighting or walk away now.
Not moving anywhere from him. He's using his head moving, he's not being stupid, but he's not necessarily moving away from Canelo. Like you said, he's walking the, you know, quote-unquote bigger man down and forcing the action rather than going off, you know, reacting to Canelo's attacks. So I think it was such an impressive display, but it sort of begs the question now, when you're a 3-time undisputed champion, and I know money's important, financials, we always talk about that, his legacy is intact regardless. We'll start with Terence. What does a Terence Crawford do now? Like, what's the next thing that he does? Because you look around and go, is the only way that he really gets that, maybe that ultimate chance, if he goes up again? And do you say, you know, what do you do?
I don't quite. Yeah, I mean, you know, he was asked those questions at the press conference. He made two things clear. One, he's not going back to 154, and I say that because some people suggested about possibly pursuing a fight with Ennis, who has his debut in the weight class coming up.
Yeah.
That's probably unlikely. He's not going to go back down in weight. And I mean, no disrespect to Ennis, but Ennis is a guy that's known within the diehards of boxing. He's not in any way known beyond the boundaries of the hardcore boxing fan. So I don't know if that makes sense for a lot of different reasons for him. Not to say I wouldn't, as a boxing fan, enjoy watching the fight. So, but I don't think he's going back to 154. He was asked about like a Benavides at 175, and he acknowledged like that guy's really big. I mean, that's maybe a bridge too far. He already went up to 2 weight classes to fight Canelo at 68. So it feels to me like he can either stay at 168 and defend this championship and look to the same types of names that were being thrown around as the types of guys that would have been in the mix for Canelo had he won the fight.
That's it for today's video. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more updates. And until next time, take care and keep your gloves up.